All right, so Nifty closed at 23,408 level and it was a positive 1.1%. The major recovery came in the last 1 hour of the market. Now, if your question arrives whether this is the bottom and will we see a rally from here, whether today Nifty expiry we see the follow up through buying and the similar positive action in the indices as well as the stocks. Should we buy at this level or should we wait for the final confirmation? What are the global cues suggesting and how are the global markets currently performing and how is gold and silver looking at these levels? I will be covering all of these questions in this video and let's start. And my name is Abhishek Yadav and you're watching Trader Hikes. Today is 17th of March, Tuesday, and the very volatile Nifty expiry day. So let's quickly dive into the charts. But before diving into the charts, I think it will be better if we discuss what are the global cues currently looking like. So there are a few updates that I wish to share with you in this morning as you need to be aware of these updates. Now, number one is that a few things have happened yesterday which are, changing the overall scenario and the dynamics of the global markets. Number one is that the Trump has asked for help from NATO members and is saying that if they do not help America in finding a solution into this war, they will face some serious consequences. Is this positive or is this negative? It simply shows that the America is now getting helpless and is asking for help from more members. I will explain you why this is happening. But as of now, the NATO members are not so much willing to get into this because they don't want any unnecessary trouble because of Trump. Now, we have three ships which have arrived on the Indian coast yesterday. They were for oil and gas. So, hopefully, going forward, we may see the easing of the supply side constraints that we were witnessing in the Indian economy. So, अगर आप लोगों को या आपके आसपास किसी को मेजरली जैसे मेरे डोमेस्टिक हेल्प दे वर फेसिंग अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम विद द एलपीजी सिलेंडर and were at times were getting very emotional, so we helped in our best capacity, but these things going forward should easen up a bit but not subsequently not drastically because see the supply side problems take time to ease out because the 2 and 3 weeks of war has created a lot of back end piling up of stock, so that if how the stock releases and reaches the market and the last mile connectivity, that whole process kicking back that again takes some time. But the positive is that ships are coming and the Indian Navy has escorted. We all should be very grateful to them. Then is another different angle in the Iran and Israel war, which US also, which is now taking shape, that Iran is now single-handedly targeting UAE. They're targeting the air bases of Dubai because it's a very interesting fact, guys, that they know that UAE is a multinational country, my bad. And if they target UAE, they are targeting the whole world. And this is exactly what they are doing. They are not targeting multiple different countries, which they were doing earlier. Now they are just aiming for UAE and are targeting their important strategic assets. Then is news from Chinese markets that Chinese, just to share a quick fact, yes, Chinese markets are over, weight on certain sectors like technology, robotics, semiconductor. But majority of the wealth of the majority, population in China is locked up in real estate. So if you are tracking Chinese markets, then you should also track the real estate market. And the data yesterday was released, which shows that there is some signs of softening in the real estate markets in China. And this is not happening for the first month. The previous month was also similar. And the data for the month of February was released and it shows similar things. that the overall housing, prices have reduced by almost 3.5% year on year. Then how should we see the overall scenario currently when we take any decision in the stock market in today's scenario, especially today? And if there is any change, then be it. So I will clarify that we do not have a permanent solution as of now. We are just seeing some signs of getting a recovery in the supply side constraints. We are seeing green shoots of, uh, final solution arriving for this overall war condition that we are seeing between Iran, US, and Israel. And it should, going forward, improve because US in itself cannot afford this for too long. And the answer is that US is currently facing some inflationary pressure in its economic numbers. And if they face these numbers, they cannot expect a rate cut in near future. Now, as you've seen that President Trump was forcing the Fed chairman to cut interest rates. But if they, continue to see these inflationary numbers high, which becomes even more high because of the war and the supply side problems that we see, the supply shortages. If the inflation rises in US, then they definitely do not see any Fed rate cut happening in near future. Now, if that does not happen, then the credit bills of the US population continue to stay high, which can be a problem for US because they are also witnessing joblessness. अब अगर unemployment होती है and if the interest rates are high, then that becomes a very catch 22 situation for the economists and it's very difficult to tackle, guys, which US is now currently trying to avoid, which is why I think that this war should not continue for too long. And in near future, we will see a solution, a midterm solution arriving for this problem. But in the meanwhile, let's quickly go to the charts and see what are the price action and the indices suggesting to us and what should we do in today's market scenario. All right. So I'm opening up the charts and we will see one by one as to what is happening in the charts. So this is Nifty 50 index. So guys, this is the daily chart and these are the levels. So Nifty breached the previous week's low, went below, but in the last closing hours, it recovered. See this is an hourly chart. From 215 onwards, Nifty started to recover and it recovered strongly and brutally. And what were the sectors that helped him do this? So it was majorly the large cap stocks. I'll tell you why. Because the Nifty small caps and the mid caps ended in red, while the Nifty was positive 1.11%. The recovery was led majorly by auto and PSU banks and somewhat in the real estate sector. But real estate is not the strongest sector, so we'll not be discussing much about real estate. The only two sectors that were strongest and were strongest recently also were auto and PSU banks. That is one space that I will be, more than interested to find my next watch list stocks from. So, Nifty 50 today shows a gap up opening of positive 0.35%. So Nifty should open in this range, roughly 23,550, roughly at this range. Let's calculate. It should open at 23,500. And you see this gap. We discussed this gap yesterday also, that this gap holds a very meaningful significance for us as traders because once Nifty crosses this gap, this surprise negative element which we had day before yesterday, which pulled Nifty to this closing on the last week. ये जो negative surprise था, Nifty will discount this negative surprise and will go higher, showing that कि जो buyers की strength है, that is now overpowering the sellers. And the market has discounted all the negatives and has digested it and is now in a mood to go higher despite that negative surprise, which is a very big positive sign. So this will be considered to be the first positive sign for me as a trader. I will be very keen to look at these levels of how Nifty performs at these levels. And if it closes higher and if it goes higher from these levels, it should definitely be taking over the previous week's Thursday's closing price, and it should. So the primary reason for that is that whosoever has shorted market at these levels, जिसने भी market को इन levels पे short किया है, they will definitely be covering their shorts when market pull goes higher after 23,550, which should definitely take Nifty to 23,700 or 800 levels. However, we still have very high risk involved in the market. Risk element has not, completely gone away. So therefore, the low of yesterday, this level, guys, is extremely important for two reasons. Number one, that if this is breached on the downside, then it shows that market has not yet bottomed out and is still in a mood to discount more negatives. Secondly, it then overpowers the sellers over the buyers. Therefore, it will suggest that the buying strength is still not there and we need more buying strength to push Nifty higher. So this level holds a lot of meaning, significance, and I will be watching if at all, since today is Nifty expiry, today is Tuesday, and it will definitely be a very, very volatile day. Since I do not do futures and options, let me clarify, I do not do futures and options. I only trade in cash market. I just trade stocks, equity stocks, and for me, taking any position on the Nifty expiry day has mostly turned negative or not in my favor in the past, which is why I remain very cautious on the day of Nifty expiry, and I'm more inclined to closely watch of how Nifty is performing, and if at all previous day like yesterday of how Nifty recovered, if it shows the similar bias today, if it shows the similar move, positive move today on the expiry, and closes at a great solid level, that shows that the yesterday recovery was not a fake out and buyers were literally buying and the institutions were helping them to push Nifty higher. As long as this level is protected, 23,950, it will show that yesterday's last hour recovery was not a fake recovery. So today is a test for that. And let's see how Nifty performs today. Now, moving on, let's go to Nifty 500 index. And Nifty 500, a similar action, but not the best, as it couldn't go higher than, or even closer to the high of the previous week's Friday. Somewhat in the middle, tried to pierce through this, but not the strongest price action. So the strongest were the large caps, which is why the Nifty CNX 500, which includes mid caps also, is not showing the similar strength what Nifty showed. अब चलते हैं mid caps पे. Mid caps showed a bullish pin bar. It is like a hammer candle, which is very positive and shows that buyers were in control yesterday. अब is the only, if there's a bullish pin bar or a hammer candle, it shows a trend reverse. It's a trend reversal candle, guys. It's not a continuation candle. ट्रेंड रिवर्सल का मतलब है कि जब मार्केट गिर रही है और उसके बाद एक बुलिश हैमर बने और वहां से मार्केट अगर रिवर्स करे, वो बुलिश हैमर जो होता है, इट शोज दैट a trend reversal is likely. But will it happen? Will it not happen? We need more confirmation for that. It is just the first sign that trend reversal might be on the cards. और अगर ट्रेंड रिवर्सल आता है, we need to go above yesterday's high as well as the previous day's high, which is what I will be noticing very closely today. So these are the things that I'll be observing. I'm sharing with you of what exactly I'll be doing today on the Nifty expiry day. So mid cap select index, similar price action. Now comes the small cap index. So small cap also showed a similar bullish pin bar candle. So this candle is what I'm talking about. This is a classical example of a hammer candle. Why do we call this hammer, guys? Because see how this looks like a hammer. So basically, price opens and hardly goes higher. It just witnesses selling, 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 and then the buyer rush, buyers rush in to support the price and push the price higher, and that forms a bullish pin bar or a hammer candle. It looks like a hammer, and the lower tail of the candle suggests that the buyers were in control and came right in to support the price and to push the price higher and close it literally very close to where it opened in the morning. So this is the first positive sign that I am seeing in Nifty Small Cap Index as it broke below this level, and this level will decide of how things shape up in near future, but it is still too soon to comment honestly. एक बार इस लेवल से ऊपर जाने दीजिए, this level of small cap 100 index, this level 16,200 175 to be precise. 16,175 level, once the small cap index goes higher, then it will show that these 2 and 3 days of however many days it takes was just an attempt for the market to cut stop losses. And it is very likely that this is the case. Well, Nifty Microcap Index is still not looking in great shape, though it also formed a similar candle. It still has a lot of time. We need to capture these levels. This is the level where we need to go higher from here. We need to go higher. So basically, we are just seeing the first green shoots of market showing some strength after overall selling spree that we noticed in last 2 weeks. We are now seeing first sign of strength that the buyers are coming to support the market. Important data that FIs sold 7,000 crores yesterday in the Indian markets, whereas the DIs have supported the markets by buying of about 11,000 crores. कमाल ही कर दिया कल DIs ने. They've done a great job. अब ऐसी बाइंग अगर होती रहे तो वी विल सी मार्केट डिस्काउंट ऑल दीज नेगेटिव्स वेरी सून. और FIs की सेलिंग गाइस, see, we have a very strong internal consumption demand of the stock market through SIPs. So we consumed stock market through SIPs, and the amount of AUM that we currently have and monthly SIPs that we see, हमारे को इनिशियली FIs की इतनी ज़रूरत नहीं है, and definitely they will be rushing in at the later stages. Initially, I have a feeling that initially FIs will not participate in the Indian stock market rally. They will definitely come because आज की डेट में क्या होता है that all the fund managers, they are looking for relative returns. Nobody is looking for absolute returns. इसका मतलब ये है कि कोई भी फंड मैनेजर आज के मार्केट सिनारियो में अपने XYZ क्लाइंट्स को ये प्रॉमिस नहीं कर रहा है कि आई विल गिव यू सो एंड सो मच रिटर्न्स, कि मैं आपको 11% से 15% के बीच में रिटर्न दे दूंगा. आई विल गिव यू लेट्स से 12 to 14%. Nobody is claiming this because the markets are very volatile. What at best they are doing is that they are saying that we will give you relative returns. So which means that कि अगर निफ्टी 5% बढ़ता है तो we will definitely be higher than Nifty. We might be 8 to 9% or 9 to 10% in the range of 8 to 10%. अगर निफ्टी 5% बढ़ता है तो हम 8 से 10% बढ़ेंगे. These are relative returns. So जो fund managers क्या है, जहाँ पे भी तेजी है, they have to move in their money there because the relative returns are then calculated to whichever index is performing the best. Now, in the initial rally of Nifty 50, I have a feeling, and I have what should I say, कई बार gut feeling होती है ना, that FIs will not be a part of the initial rally that we see in Indian stock market. जब उनको दिखेगा कि यार ये मार्केट बेटर परफॉर्म कर रही है और हमारा जो रिलेटिव स्कोर होना चाहिए, रिलेटिव रिटर्न होना चाहिए, वो दैट शुड बी, लेट्स से इमर्जिंग मार्केट्स का जो वो पूरा पूल बना के चलते हैं कि चाइना, हांगकांग, ताइवान एंड और डिफरेंट कंट्रीज, ब्राजील, इंडिया। तो इन कंट्रीज में अभी तो उनका रिलेटिव स्कोर शायद चाइना और ताइवान से कंपेयर हो रहा है या कोरिया से कंपेयर हो रहा है। बट जब इंडियन मार्केट्स परफॉर्म करने लग जाएंगी, दे विल सी कि यार अब हमारे को इंडिया का आउट परफॉर्म करना है, एंड फॉर दैट वी एटलीस्ट हैव टू बी पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया। तो वो अपना पैसा फिर इंडिया में मूव इन करेंगे। दिस इज व्हाट has happened in recent past. I read a lot of fund managers and understand their psyche, किस टाइप से वो लोग सोचते हैं, and how they move their capital from one destination to the other, from one economy to the other. This is how mechanically they think. Well, moving on, थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा हो गया, but this is my attempt to teach you of how things work in stock market, not just about stocks, guys. I will not be suggesting you any stocks. I literally want you guys to take ownership of your decisions. आप सीखें पहले. You learn stock market and be in a position to command your own portfolio and think कि यार मुझे क्या करना है. एंड उससे पहले आपको वो सीखना पड़ेगा कि आपको आना चाहिए कि क्या करना है, राइट? So this is my attempt to do that. So please, this is no buy and sell recommendation for any stock. I do not give any stock tips. And this is an attempt to educate you and all the other viewers who are very serious about stock markets and are looking for a good source to learn about the stock markets. So I'm a trader, and I've been trading for past 7.5, almost 8 years now. And I have been through a lot of ups and downs, because for me finding a good mentor initially was very tough, and which is why I think that my contribution should be at best not to kind of sharpen the learning curve of anybody who is willing to work in stock markets and make a career here, or at least build some passive income from stock market. So I don't want you to spend half a decade or probably a decade to learn stock markets and then start making money. I want you to learn at the earliest, so that you have time to compound your capital in the later years and at best. So if you keep continuing my channel, you will be learning a lot of different nuances, lot of different things that I have learned in a very painful way. But I will be willing, more than willing, to share all my experiences and all my learnings with you going forward. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do that, and hit a like and share button. You can also press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I go live or upload a video. All right, so moving on. Alpha index is also in similar position. It's trading below its all moving averages. I've shared that these are my moving averages, guys. Yellow is the 200-day moving average line, red is 50, green is 21, and white is 10. So अभी सभी moving averages के नीचे does not have any trend. Yesterday the bank Nifty, as I told you, saw a sharp reversal, and let's see how banks perform. Agar banks में recovery fast आती है, that means the market can definitely push higher, because we need any heavyweight sector. IT has gone weak, so we need a heavyweight sector to support the market. Banks and autos can do that, can. It is still unconfirmed, but we have seen the first sign of reversal yesterday and first sign of strength in banks and autos. And let's see how things go ahead. Today will be a very interesting day, guys. So financial services similarly, and PSU banks is also one area that I'm closely watching, because it has shown the highest amount of strength from banks, and this can continue to happen. Autos is also one good area that I'll be closely watching today. So Nifty is opening at 23,493 levels. I'll quickly share. Nifty Pharma is still low, still below 21. So let's see how things work. I will now move on to the global cues. So the dollar is still getting stronger and it is positive. We need dollar softening, guys. We need dollar to weaken for the Indian economy that has So if dollar stays strong, जो FIs होते हैं, they have a negative sentiment about the Indian economy. उनको लगता है क्योंकि उनका पैसा खड़े खड़े ही waste हो रहा है. They are literally getting the negative returns because of the weakening of Indian rupee. जब तक इंडियन रूपी वीक होता रहेगा, FIs will continue to remain cautious about the Indian stock market. WTI crude कल बहुत जबरदस्त गिरा है 5% and today it is showing some recovery of 2%. As long as it remains below $100, guys, we do not have any concern क्योंकि मार्केट ने इतना डिस्काउंट कर लिया है. अब अगर ये 100 के ऊपर जाता है, दैट मीन्स दैट सिचुएशन हैज नॉट बीन अंडर कंट्रोल और वो कंट्रोल से बाहर हो रही है एंड विल बी अ वेरी वेरी नेगेटिव साइन फॉर द इंडियन इकोनॉमी. कल यूएस मार्केट ने स्ट्रॉन्ग क्लोजिंग दी है बट इट इज स्टिल नॉट इन लुकिंग इन ग्रेट टेक्निकल शेप. Let's see how it performs. Taiwan is today positive. Korea is also positive. So basically, Asia के जो बाजार हैं, they're showing positive bias, and market will open in next 40 seconds. So if you have any questions, guys, I will be more than happy to take them. And I'll just quickly open my chat window and see. So Curious Log says, thank you so much for giving us this information. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Curious Log, if that's your name. Explained so well. Thank you so much, and most welcome. And I like that you are continuing to follow these videos, and I'm hopefully learning also from these videos. Well, today is great expiry day, and let's see how things work. If you have a question as to what I will be doing, then let me tell you guys that today is a Nifty expiry day because today is Tuesday and today will definitely be extremely volatile. Let me outrightly clearly and tell you that today is going to be outrightly volatile, and I'm not a big fan of volatility on expiry days as a stock trader. I do not trade options, I do not do futures, and I literally stay away from that side because when the VIX index is high, though you might be getting higher premiums, but the volatility can literally wipe out your annual return also on the black swan days. एक साल की कमाई आपकी एक दिन में जा सकती है on a black swan day means कि मतलब ऐसा कोई चमत्कारिक खराब घटिया दिन और वो होता है ना पनौती वाला दिन अगर आपकी लाइफ में आ गया, एक साल का रिटर्न आपका ले जा सकता है. दैट इज द पोटेंशियल ऑफ फ्यूचर्स एंड ऑप्शंस, एंड दीज आर hedging tools and not the best ones to trade and make money. So I stay away from these futures and options. I do track them to gauge the overall health of the market and how the uh, overall participants are looking at the market, but I do not trade in futures and options. I am a stock trader. So if you are looking for any futures and options tips, then I'm so sorry, I will not be able to help you in this streak. And my best advice to you is that go slow but go consistently, because stock any let's say this slightly wrong decision in the stock market can still give you time to recover, but any wrong decision in futures and options can wipe off your overall capital, and that's zero sum game, guys. Your loss is somebody's profit, and the big players know how to fool you and trap you in this game. And the theta decay on the last day standing, मतलब आपके खड़े खड़े ही नुकसान शुरू हो जाता है because of the last day expiry. And I mean, things have turned not the best for the overall options and futures and options traders in the recent past. And the government is also trying to avoid you guys from over trading in these areas. So stay away and have patience, because the stock market overall stocks, when they work in a bull cycle, they have more potential to give you solid returns and compound your capital. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And as I told you that I will be staying away from the market and I will be observing, because the volatility today is so high that if at all I'll be able to take any position, it will only be through ETFs, and probably and most probably at the closing of the today's market. Stock position, whatever that I am holding, I am tracking them, and if at all, they show signs of recovery and the positive bias I see in the market and overall market breadth भी मैं आपको धीरे धीरे बताऊंगा वीडियोस में. जब वो इम्प्रूव होगा तभी मैं अपने पोर्टफोलियो का एक्सपोजर बढ़ाऊंगा. अभी इट इज स्टिल टू सून टू कमेंट whether to go in all aggressive or not. अभी आराम से आई एम सिटिंग आउट एंड just observing the market and seeing कि ये कोई फेक एक्शन तो नहीं है. अगर ये फेक एक्शन है तो आई विल बी सेव्ड, और अगर नहीं है आई विल हैव लॉट ऑफ टाइम टू बिल्ड माय ट्रेडिंग पोर्टफोलियो. टुडे is Tuesday. Tomorrow I'll be uploading one educational video about, so I've already told you the topic yesterday, whether oversold markets mean that you go and buy. Whether a low RSI of Nifty means that you should go and buy is the video all about. And if you want to know the answer, that you should subscribe to my channel, because tomorrow I'll be uploading the video. But tomorrow morning at 8:45, I'll see you live at the pre-market analysis time and give you all the updates about the stock market that you should know before taking any such action in the stock market. Well, that's it, guys. My name is Abhishek, and I will sign off now. And thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, and comment. If you have any questions, then please put them in the comment section below. I will try to answer them all. That's it, and thank you so much for joining in. Jai Hind.